I often get asked, what is a percentage that I should put towards different things inside of my budget, such as housing, transportation, food? What should I be spending or what should I be budgeting for? In this video, I'm going to give you a realistic breakdown of the percentages that you should be using inside of your budget for all of the major categories, and I'll even show you a look at my own percentages. Hey guys, welcome back to the Debt Free Millennials channel. I'm your host, Justine, and here we talk about all ways to help you achieve financial confidence, crush debt that leads to more fun and fewer payments. If you're into that lifestyle and you want to join the family of, we're getting close to 100,000 subscribers. I'm putting it out into existence, so if that's you, come join and subscribe. And today we're talking about a realistic breakdown of the percentages that you're going to allocate towards your budget. Now, I actually looked up some data of the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics to help us get an idea of what is actually going on in American households, and then how that backs up my own budget and what I'm doing out in Los Angeles as a family of three, me, my husband, and my 2-year-old daughter. This is a look at inside of the latest data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you're gonna see here the major spending categories from 2022 is the latest information that we have. You're going to see 12.8% going towards food. Food includes groceries and restaurants. So food inside the home and food outside the home is how they categorize it. 0.8% in alcoholic beverages. Housing was a whopping 33.3%. Actually, in 2020, it was 34.9%. So it's actually gone down a bit. And I find this statistic specifically interesting because people out there, Dave Ramsey, will tell you to spend no more than 25% of your take-home pay on housing. And what I'm seeing here is the annual expenditures of households really putting money of 33% towards housing. Clothing, apparel, and services of 2.7%. Transportation is 16.8%. Healthcare was 8%. Entertainment 4.7%, and on. Personal insurance and pensions here was at 12%. So it's interesting to see what's actually going on. What are the actual expenditures and the percentages allocated towards it, and then comparing that against what I'm doing currently in my budget, which is what I want to show you. So inside of my budget toolkit, which you can get for free by clicking the link below in the description box, pop in your email address, and that will also put you on my weekly newsletter list, which is always full of new updates and ideas to help you with your financial journey, as well as the budget template. So make sure you're grabbing this below. Inside of my template, I included a yearly glance tab where you can see exactly how much you're spending in each of your budgeted categories and a percentage of that. So I went ahead and update this based off of what I know has happened over the last 9-10 months of the year. At the time of this recording, that's the data that I have for this year. And so you can see my husband and I are actually averaging around 13K in take home, which is great. And it's not lost on me that we're looking at a budget of high income earners, and also we're living in a high cost of living area. So it's kind of like, this is where we're matching up. Here's what is going on inside of my budget. Our rent is $4,200 a month, and we live in LA. Right now, that's 30% of our annual budget. So I'm almost on par with what's actually happening across America. What wasn't included in that report, though, was childcare expenses. Currently, I'm paying 15.23% on childcare expenses, and you're like, well, how do we even know if that's on par with what's going on? I actually found this website that talked about daycare costs per state from this website, which was really amazing, Illumine, and it went state by state. So I actually scrolled up to California. California ranks number 4 for child care costs. Families in California typically spend a whopping amount of $16,945 annually on infant care. Now keep in mind, if you've not had a baby or you're getting ready to, Typically, when you are putting infants into childcare, you're going to be paying the most amount of tuition per month because the child is so young, so small, they require a lot more attention, and typically the teacher to baby ratio is a lot smaller. In my daycare that my daughter goes to, it's a 1-to-3 ratio, and as they get older, they become more independent and teachers can actually take on more kids at one time. So then it goes from 1-to-3, 1-to-4, 1-to-6, 1-to-10. So it's interesting to see this across states because I wanted to figure out, okay, if it's $16,945 for infant care and now I have a 2-year-old and we're spending about $23,940, even though the percentage of my budget compared to my income is okay, we're still spending a ton of money on childcare expenses. So then I wanted to look at Colorado because this is a state that I'm interested in moving to. Full-time infant care was $15,325, so still high, but not as high as California. And then if I go to my home state of Kansas, I actually grew up in Shawnee, Kansas, a suburb outside of Kansas City. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so Kansas charges $11,222 for routine infant care. Again, that number is going to decrease as your child gets older. So as I'm looking at this and compared to my budget, we're spending a lot of money on childcare, and that just could be of the area that we live in, and the demand for full-time care is up there. You're gonna see some other percentages here. Cell phone was 1%, 0%, it's not even on the radar for internet, 7% on groceries, and again, if we're looking at food, 12.8, so 7% on groceries. Plus restaurants was the 3, so that's 10. And I also did include alcohol. So we're doing just slightly below what the average American household is spending. Then you're gonna see all these other percentages are really just not on the radar for our budget because we're spending so very little on some of these other things, such as our utilities, which was 1%. Now keep in mind, utilities are going to vary across the US just because of the climate that you might be living in. But let me give you an idea of what the average is so far. All right, so the latest data from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics is showing you the average annual expenditures across all consumer units meaning households, and you're gonna see the gas, electricity, and some of the other things like water. So if I was to look at natural gas, of how much people are spending, $447 per year, so that's roughly $37 per month on natural gas. Electricity, again, is going to vary. This is, if you're running your air a lot, then obviously this could be a lot more for you. In California, it's very mild and we hardly ever run our air, but we're looking at an average of $129 per month on electricity. And then let's take a look at water. 695 divided by 12 is about $58 per month. If you can go into your utilities billing statements and take a look at what you're averaging and then compare it to this report, you might be right on par. You might be living in a really hot place like Miami or Phoenix and the summers are just ridiculous and you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month on your utilities. I just find that these types of reports are a good gauge to give you a sense of whether or not you're overspending in these specific categories. Another thing that I have detailed inside of my yearly glance budget is my future savings. So this includes a little bit of outside investing. Right now, we currently contribute pre-tax dollars towards my husband's 401k and towards my SEP IRA because I'm self-employed. And then anything else that we're doing savings-wise includes a down payment and a vacation fund. So if I was to put $1,000 towards these two goals, then I'm looking at 16% across the board. And then we hear a lot about different experts, financial experts or financial authorities out there saying that you need to be saving and investing your money and a percentage of that. I actually found that too. So from NerdWallet of how much you should be saving for your retirement, the general rule of thumb, most experts recommend annual retirement savings goal of 10 to 15% of your pre-tax income. Investopedia says the same thing. One rule of thumb is to save 15% of your annual earnings. In a perfect world, savings would begin in your 20s and last throughout your working years. And then I check that against Fidelity. Aim to save at least 15% of your income annually for retirement. I think a better benchmark than this 15% is being able to continue to max out your retirement contributions to the limit. If you have a 401k, start with the employer match, work your way up. If you haven't been able to even touch the employer match, work on increasing that percentage rate every single year. If you're contributing 2%, next year do 3%. Anytime you get a raise or a bonus, increase it. And then you can see how you can maximize that, because in my mind, and this is the game that I'm playing and what I'm learning from reading The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, is that everybody's playing a different game. To me, my game is creating enough financial independence so that I can reach enough money that my net worth is equal to 25 times my annual expenses, so that my husband could take a back seat from working his 9 to 5 if he wants to. That's the game that I'm playing. You may not be playing that game. I'm going to recommend that you work on maxing out those contribution limits and or do what makes you sleep at night comfortably. That you are confidently knowing, like, yes, I am doing what I can to maximize my investments. And maybe it's not 15%, maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's less than that right now. So you have to kind of use your own benchmarks, because I don't know what you want, why you want it, and when you want it. If you're anything like me and you're trying to achieve financial freedom where debt's not holding you back, you're really working the steps to max out those investments. And spoiler alert, a great book to utilize and pick up is The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. These are the things that I look forward to and what I hope to share with you in my own financial journey. And by sharing a look at my budget, okay, this is what's working for one couple living in Los Angeles, and how can I take that and apply it to my own situation, or how can that give me ideas of what might work best for my budget, especially when you're comparing it to the averages that you're seeing across America. If this is resonating with you, I highly recommend you download that budget toolkit, put in all of your numbers, and start taking a look at a percentage breakdown of each category. Then you can make adjustments month over month along the way to help you either decrease the amount, or maybe you have some flexibility to throw more money towards things like investing, or things like maybe you want to up your entertainment budget. The average spent on entertainment was 5%. Maybe you want to spend more on that. Who knows? Again, it's the financial game that you want to play. We're all just living in it, making up our own rules, and hopefully getting a little bit of guidance along the way to help you make the best decision for your finances. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next one.